Hi guys, one of the reasons the likes of Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson are extremely successful is that they rely on their supporters just taking things at face value. They're hoping that a whole group of people don't have critical thinking skills, the ability to take a step back and ask questions. What I'm seeing, is it real? What I'm seeing, is it presented correctly? Is there an angle that the person in the video or the image or whatever is trying to sell that's untrue? So this is important, to ask questions. And this is what I'm going to do with this video that was shared by far-right accounts, and the guy in the video is being presented as some sort of patriot, some sort of hero, because he has taken an economic or political decision. Have a listen.
They want me to house illegal immigrants in my 26-bedroom hotel here in Cambridge. I was offered by a company that offered to pay me £35,000 per month for almost 7 years. That's a lot of money, and they were going to use it to house illegal immigrants. And I said, no. Now, commercially, does it make sense? Well, I don't care if I make more money or less money. I want to run it as a hotel. On principle, that's what I decided. Sometimes you have to stick to your principles and put your values over money.
Okay, so this guy who appeared in the video is a guy called Samuel Leeds. He runs social media accounts. He runs a business where he's involved in property, and he also offers courses to people to get involved in the property market. Now, he posted this on social media. Illegal immigrants in my hotel, ? I was asked to use my hotel to house illegal migrants, and I said no. Now, they're of course not illegal migrants, they're asylum seekers, but that's a separate issue. Willingham House is a boutique hotel, and despite the tempting offers from Serco and other companies, it's staying as a hotel. Now, he hasn't presented any evidence to back up this claim. So we have to assume, the right-wingers are assuming it all right straight away without any critical thinking, but we have to assume that he's telling the truth. Or should we assume that he's telling the truth? Because he hasn't presented any evidence. He hasn't held up an email from Serco or other companies saying, we want to use your hotel. He says, I was offered £420,000 per year in passive income. Many other hotel owners are caving under the pressure, not me. Now, he says £420,000 a year. Once again, we have no evidence to back up that claim. But let's say, for the sake of argument, it's true. Well, is this more or less than he would receive if he was running the hotel normally? Now, he said it doesn't matter, but he's a guy who is supposed to be a successful business owner. So why would a successful business owner take bad decisions? Wouldn't you want to maximize profit? His whole thing is about maximizing profit. Buying and selling, doing up properties and selling them off or renting them out, or different tricks of the trade to maximize profit. And here he is talking about, no, you don't want to maximize profit. You want to take some sort of principled position. If you want to come and support a luxury hotel run by a small business owner like me, you're all welcome to stay at Willingham House, Cambridgeshire. We would love to host you. And then he puts Google and then book. Okay, so I think this is more likely. I'm not saying this is true. I don't know, because once again, I don't have evidence to back up this claim. But it's looking more and more likely that he's tapping into a type of anger that exists at the moment when it comes to asylum seekers and hotels. He's presenting this position that I'm taking a principled position. I am a patriot, or people are describing him as a patriot, somebody who's not running to get some money. No, I'm willing to stand my ground, even if it costs me money to maintain my hotel. Now, this could be possible, but once again, we don't have any evidence to back up that claim apart from his own word. But the fact that he's saying, come and stay in my hotel, and this video has, let me show you, 610,000 views. Well, it's a good business idea. It's a good way to advertise your business. Say that I've been offered, without evidence, of course, I've been offered by the Home Office or by Serco to replace the paying customers in my hotel with asylum seekers, and I said no, but you can come and stay at it. And here's a way to advertise it. Look, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's false, but I think it's important when you see stuff like this to take a step back and ask yourself, okay, is what this guy is saying true? why is he doing this? Is he tapping into a particular anger at the moment? If he had posted this video a year ago, would he have seen the same number of views? Does he know what he's doing? Of course he knows what he's doing. So I think it's important to understand how the likes of Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage are successful. They're relying on people just taking stuff at face value and not taking a step back and asking difficult questions. Once again, I'm not saying that this guy is telling fibs. I'm not saying that the information here is untrue. I'm asking people to ask questions, to dig a bit deeper. Is this true? What evidence is there to back up the claim that he has been offered money, that it would make more sense for him to stay as he is, or to get more money booking out this or handing over the hotel to the Home Office? Now, it's important to remember that at the moment, a lot of people are avoiding hotels because of the cost of living crisis. It's more expensive to go on holiday. Businesses like hotels and hospitality are struggling to find workers. There's the extra costs, the extra taxes that they have to pay. So businesses like hotels are struggling, and some of them are seeing the use of their properties being handed over to the Home Office or companies connected to the Home Office as a lifeline. They're going under, and they see the only way to stay afloat is to put asylum seekers in there. Now, I don't know if this is the situation with his hotel. The higher end luxury hotels probably are not seeing this because they don't need to rely on this type of income. But the smaller ones are having to compete with other hotels. They're having to compete with B&Bs. They're having to compete with Airbnb. So they're having a more difficult time of it. And replacing staff, replacing your facilities with just regular accommodation for asylum seekers could be seen as a lifeline for many businesses. But he's taking a principled approach, it seems. Once again, you have to take a step back and ask the difficult questions. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.